Mensaje importante para los colombianos, quien quieres ver eso y aprender inglés, pero necesitan subtitulados. YouTube tienen una cosa donde es posible tener subtitulados automáticos en español. Si yo hablo en inglés, la traducción es automática. Solo usar los settings en tu aplicación y selectar traducción automática y selectar tu idioma. Para ti es español. What is up, guys? Welcome to the first episode, as you can tell, because it's kind of rough here, of the Independiente Medellin podcast that I'm putting on. We will name this later, but I wanted to take first pass at what this format would look like while here in Ohio. So you can see the backdrop behind me is actually a closet with the Colombian flag because my Medellin flag is currently at home in Medellin. Just a couple quick updates on how this format's going to go. Basically, the day after a game, what I want to do is talk to fans about my perspectives of the game, show some highlights, do some things like that. And I actually just invested a significant amount of money in a new camera, a microphone, and actually a new laptop to power this. So the studio quality right now will get better as time goes on, and we will be doing some things as we go forward. Now, I do have notes that I've been keeping on my iPad, taking notes during the games. So that when I come here, I'm not just saying things like, we played well. That said, today's episode is going to be in English. As this channel continues to grow, what we're looking to do, as I said in my previous video, is we are actually looking to talk about things both in Spanish and in English. I will probably be partnering, and we'll probably be setting up a new channel just from the standpoint of the old channel or the current channel is not going to be good for this. That's more of a travel channel, and I don't really want to mix that up, especially if like one day this gets monetized. So that being said, let's jump into it. Last night was, we've had a lot of draws lately. We've had 3 straight draws across the board. We've been kind of hanging out in that number 3 spot in the category of Primera A table. And I think we really needed a win last night. Medellin needs to know that they can do what they need to do. It needs to know that they can beat the teams that they were supposed to. Now, if you look at the table, like I would not say, like Deportivo Cali, when we tied with them, I think that was a bad tie. Like Cali's sitting at number 16 in the table as we speak right now. And I'll be honest, Bucaramanga's not much better. They came in with losing 3 out of 4 and the other being a tie. And I just think that we needed to go in there and handle business. And my main takeaway from all of this is that Medellin went into our home with a clearly inferior opponent. And that's not to, I don't want to say terrible things about Bucaramanga. They have a great fan base. Usually they have a decent team that hangs out in the middle of the pack. I put them on par with like Pereira or maybe a Tolima, but we were supposed to win last night and we won handedly, which I think the team really needed. I think we came off that big win with Atlético Nacional and I think we were spent. And at the end of the day, I think that Independiente Medellin needs to not be a caliber team. And so one of my main takeaways was we didn't look like a caliber team last night. And when I say caliber team, here's what I mean. There are teams in all sports that I have named caliber teams. They're not an official thing. That's not an official nomenclature word, whatever. But basically, when they play really good opponents, they play really well. And they look like a team that can be contenders. But on a Monday night in Medellin, it's kind of hard to get up when you have 20 other games for the year. And so you play a team like Deportivo Cali or Atletico Bucaramanga, which again, I'm not criticizing, but you play them in a way that you're not playing your best of your ability. Like we should have smoked Deportivo Cali. I am firmly in that. I was very disappointed that A, we allowed 2 goals, and B, we tied. But tonight, Independiente Medellin handled business. Now, does that mean that we played well, or did Bucaramanga just play very bad? And I don't want to. Again, I'm not here to talk smack about any other team except maybe Atletico Nacional. But at the end of the day, Medellin played like a team that was fighting for first place in the league table, and Bucaramanga played like a team that was near the bottom, and that's not great. Now, a couple things that I did see. Um, we attacked very well, and one of my main criticisms with Daniel Geraldo as a coach is I think he plays conservatively, right? He tries to play as careful as possible. He plays what we call not to lose rather than to win. And so what I saw, how many shots do we have in the first couple minutes? We had 4 shots on goal in the first 8 minutes, and usually we don't do that. We are playing more aggressive, and we had Julian Gomez handling things on the left side. Now, I do think like we go to the left all the time. I think Medellin would benefit more from attacking in the middle of the field to try to get those shots on goal. But Gomez over there doing the semi corner kicks. And again, I'm pretty new at soccer, so if any of this sounds stupid, I do apologize. But Gomez over on number 26, Gomez on the left side, always trying to do these corner kicks so we can get headers in the goal. I think we need to be attacking, right? You can get more velocity if you try to find your open man. That said, goal in the first 13 minutes by Joaquin Valera, number 5. From that point on, like first 13-minute goal, like if you score in the first 15 minutes of a game, I tend to think that that's usually a pretty good indicator of how the night's going to go. Like, and immediately after that, actually, Bucaramanga kicked that back and almost had an own goal on themselves. So Bucaramanga looked lost, but we played aggressive. And better than that, throughout the game, I think we played aggressive. We did this, usually we get up a goal and we drop back in defense and try to just run out the clock, whether that's in a half or whether that's in full time. And we did not do that this time. And so hats off to Coach Geraldo, as well as Luciano Pons, who I think really set the tone. We just kept attacking to the point we had control. I even wrote in my notes here, Jose Chonga might as well have stayed home. Bucaramanga did not get a lot of shots on goal. Our goalie was standing there. He had the easiest game of the night. A couple good saves, but there was only really a handful of opportunities. Bucaramanga looked very disorganized. Even if they got to attack side of the field, they did not. It just fell apart. Bad passes. And hats off to Independiente Medellin. We are a defensive team and we play very well. But I did think that it was more rough passes and a team that maybe just is in a rebuild phase, right? I think the first note that I have here about Bucaramanga is it took them 38 minutes to get a serious challenge on goal. And even in the first half, the score was 1-0, but I mean, we were attacking and getting shots. And the law of averages didn't work in our favor. And I have a note here that says, it was 1-0, but it could have easily been 3-0 at the half. And we started the second half same way, very aggressive, trying to go. We had an attacking goal in the first 2 minutes, and I actually wrote that, and I was pretty excited about it. And of course, the ultimate break finally came in minute 51, which Edwin kicked that that penalty kick, which Bucaramanga, you can tell Bucaramanga was very frustrated. I felt bad for them, quite honestly, because it sucks to get your butt kicked. Um, but at the end of the day, like I thought they did. I thought they were getting kind of chippy at the end. We had a red card. Stevenson Jerez slid into Brian Muniz's uh, leg there on the right, going after the ball. He says he's going after the ball, but the angle looked bad. And I don't know, maybe he misjudged it. I'm going to give him the benefit of a doubt, but it looked like a team that was very frustrated. And they were getting mouthy with officials. They were getting mouthy with each other, quite frankly. There was a couple times there that I really thought we had it might get out of control. That said, I actually want to talk about the officials. The officials didn't have any blown calls that I saw, but they didn't control the tempo of the game. There were many stoppages, and like it felt like the game really dragged on. Maybe that's just me, but I felt like I didn't get the name of the referee, but I felt like the head official did not do a good job of keeping the game like flowing, and and probably around minute 70, the game like noticeably slowed down. There was Bucaramanga could read the writing on the walls. They knew what was going to happen. We were going to lose, and maybe they get a goal, but that was what it was. But I think the big takeaway for all of this is that Medellin did what they were supposed to do, and we actually jumped up to third in the standings after this with our 3 points, and we broke our tie streak, and I think that was important to us. Now, when we look around the league right now, like I said, let's just run through the top eight right now, because that for gringos or anybody else who doesn't know, the top 8 teams make the playoffs. Rio Negro, who continues to surprise me. Rio Negro is playing lights out, and they very rarely lose. They've got 7 wins and 6 draws, so they're not winning all the time. But my God, they are actively playing well. They're standing number 1 with 27 points. Number 2 is the resurrection of America de Cali, and I cannot believe it. So earlier this season, for those of you guys who don't know, probably around like what, fecha 6 or 7 or 8, America de Cali was sitting at number 2, or I'm sorry, was sitting down at the bottom, probably close to like where Equidad is now, or Equidad at number 15. They're currently on a hot streak. They've won 4 out of their last 5. 14 games played. They're sitting at 26 points, so they're 1 point behind Rio Negro. They've come back from the dead and are forging a campaign trying to be champion. Then at number 3, we have Independiente Medellin, which we will, of course, be covering more in depth. Number 4 is Atlético Nacional. So Medellin last night with our win caught up to similar games played, right? We both played 14. We are now ahead of Atlético Nacional. Number 5 is the Millonarios, and I have some opinions about the Millonarios that I'm not really comfortable sharing right now because I might be proven wrong. They're a good team. Do I think that they're a championship team like last year? I don't. And I think their early struggles have shown that. They're 6-4-4, so 6 wins, 4 draws, and 4 losses. They're always in the mix. I mean, hell, they're the Millonarios. They got the most money. They can buy the best players. They can do whatever they need to do. But at the end of the day, I'm not sold on them yet. Number 6 is Santa Fe. Santa Fe is sitting at 22. So they're tied with the Millonarios, but they have the tiebreaker. Millonarios have the tiebreaker. Alianza is number 7. I don't know what to make of them, but their goal differential is -1, and that is not great. But hey, they've got 22 points. They're tied. So 5, 6, and 7 are all tied at 22 points a pop. And number 8, Tolima. So Tolima is a scrappy team. I don't think that they're a world beater by any means, but they're basically, for every win they get a draw and a loss. So they're sitting at one more win. They do have another game coming up. They're at 13 games played, and so is Rio Negro. So what that means is Rio Negro, let's see who Rio Negro plays real quick. I've got Rio Negro next, outside of Copa Colombia, playing Pasto, which they should easily win. So I expect Rio Negro to increase their lead. To be honest, I kind of expect Rio Negro to finish the year at number 1 in the table. We'll see how well that happens, or if that happens. Outside looking in, you've got Pasto, Junior, Magdalena, and I'm going to throw Julia in there. But those are the outside looking in. They've got a real shot at that number 8 spot, especially Junior. I think Junior's a historically good team. They go through ups, they go through downs, but historically they're a very good team, and I think that they'll do well. That being said, let's look forward to Independiente Medellin's next game, which is actually in Copa Colombia. So for those of you who don't know, Copa Colombia is a tournament that happens with all the Colombian teams here in after they classify, right? There's a group play stage, then they classify. So the way this works is there's a home game and an away game, and your goal differential actually determines whether or not you advance. So Cucara Deportivo is Independiente Medellin's opponent, and this is the first leg, so it will be played in Cucara, and that's okay. I expect Independiente Medellin to just this is a win. The last 5 times they've played, we've had 1 draw, 4 wins. So is it possible Cucara's do a win? Yes, but they're not. I don't think they're a team that can compete with Independiente Medellin, especially the way that they're playing right now. So I expect us to go into that with a win. Of course, we'll be analyzing it after the game and talking about how we feel this went. So I do expect us to go there. Do keep in mind, Rio Negro's in that as well as Nacional. I think America's still in it. So there's some good teams in Copa Colombia, but Copa Colombia is a tournament in the middle of the season, and I think Independiente Medellin has a shot. So I'd like to see. I mean, obviously, you want to win the league, right? We want the league title, but at the end of the day, I'll take the Copa Colombia on the way there too. So I do think we can do that. So our approximate next game for the league is Once Caldas, which I'm going to probably break down as we go forward in this, but it's match day 15 or 20. We're getting towards the end of the season, and oh, buddy, I'm ready. So I think we're going to do really well. Next 5 games for Independiente Medellin is Once Caldas, Atletico Julia, again, Nacional, but this time they'll be the home team. I'm going to try to get into that. And then we've got Pereira and Pasto. So, and that doesn't include any Copa Colombia plays. So I do think we can. To be honest, nothing on here really scares me other than Nacional. I think Medellin can win out, looking at this table. Now, maybe they let a team get by them on a tie. Pereira is playing pretty well. But realistically, we should win out on the year. I expect that from this team. This team wants to contend for a title. Maybe Nacional gets past us because they'll have the team, they'll have their fans there and we won't. But I do think that, I think that's probably the big one. So that being said, guys, this will conclude the first episode of the podcast. Obviously, this is going to evolve. If you have tips, tricks, something else that you would like to maybe see or hear me talk about while we talk about Independiente Medellin, please, by no means, just let me know and drop it in the comments, leave a like, whatever that is. And of course, if we do create a side channel for this, I need name ideas. So what's a good name for the podcast? Because right now, if you search Independiente Medellin in the podcast, you only get one podcast that's ran by RCN. So I do want to continue to grow the team. I want to talk in Spanish and English with people. If you're interested in doing a permanent collaboration or any type of if you're doing a permanent collaboration or any type of guest spot, whatever that might be, I'd really like to see people do that. I promise that the background behind me is going to get better. The camera quality is going to get better. The microphone quality is going to get better. But really, at the end of the day, this is all, everything's in the mail coming here. So I'm just waiting on that to happen. I do hope you guys liked it. I had fun making it. So, yeah, with that being said, take care, guys. And yeah, vamos Poderoso.